Hello everyone, welcome to another podcast. Today is the 2019, it's episode 3 of the 2019 collection from Matthew's Up with Walton. So, we chat about his artwork and all that. So here we go. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my series of podcasts. This week we have an artist in the house from Bransholme Community Arts, Mr. Wayne Walton. So shall we begin? Are you ready, Wayne?
I am, thank you.
What's your background?
Right, I started working for a newspaper as a photographer. I ended up being there 14 years and being the manager of the department before I left. Then I left and went to art school where I did a HND and then topped that up to a degree. So I could work in community arts, which is fairly long story, but how I've ended up actually working for Bransholme Community Arts for the last 10 years.
What does your work aim to say?
Right, well basically I have two types of work. There's the work I get paid for, which is through Bransholme Community Arts where I work with young people, and then there's my own art practice. That is kind of the question I think you're asking is what does my own art practice end up saying? A lot of the artwork is about working, so it's I kind of do endurance pieces where I do drawings over a long period of time or photographs over a long period of time and then put that together. And the idea is it's kind of when you go to work, you work and you do the same thing day in day out, day in day out, and you don't really think about it, but by the end of a good chunk of time you've ended up doing a huge amount of work, even though you've just done small bits all the time.
Who are your biggest influences in your career?
Right, that's a really, really difficult one. There's so many people that's helped me along the way. And I would hate to start saying names and things, but one of the biggest thing is going to college and being around other artists. Before that, I lived in Withensea, and I don't say there are no artists in Withensea, because there's lots of them. But to actually be in a community of other artists constantly, all day, every day, while you're at college and at university, that really just opens up your entire world. So I don't really want to sort of single out any one person, because there has been so many along the way that have been so influential in helping me, to get to where I am now.
How have you developed your career?
Right, that's a really difficult one, because I look at career. If you look up career in the dictionary, it says to travel uncontrollably, usually downhill. So I don't really think about what I'm doing as a career, especially through art. I kind of bumble along. I think that's kind of the easiest way. So to develop stuff, it's more developing ideas of each individual projects that I'm in, which lead on to the next one, which leads on to the next one. And I think it's kind of called meta, where you do a piece of artwork. I think a real good example of this is I photographed every single phone box in Hull and surrounding area, all the white ones. And I had that in an exhibition. And then from that exhibition, I've produced posters, and then there's the posters. But then I had a giant wall where I just stuck all of the posters over a giant wall. So it kind of, one thing leads to the next, which leads to the next, and it just carries on. And there's no real plan to it. It's just when you do something and you get quite excited about it, and it shows you a different direction, and you move off and start doing other things.
How do you seek out opportunities?
If something happens, I've found the best thing to do is to do things. It's really easy to say when somebody says to you, "Oh, Wayne, do you want to get involved in this?" It's really easy to say, "No, I'd rather be at home watching Firefly reruns on Netflix and just sit with me cup of tea and things." Whereas getting out on a dark night, raining and you think, why am I doing this and stuff? But once you start doing things, you end up meeting other people, you end up getting other opportunities, and it is just getting out there and doing stuff.
Getting out there and doing
whatever stuff. Anybody is interested in, it could be fishing, it could be football, it could be just get involved in doing whatever you're interested in, and the sheer process of just doing something evolves into doing more and more and more, and that's how you end up sort of with a career.
How do you navigate the art world?
Well, again, it's not navigatable. It's bumbling along. I think that's the easiest thing. And I've always not really done things for monetary gain. Money has never really been an issue for me. I've never bothered about it. I mean, I don't even have a bank account, so I'm not bothered at all. And it's about experiences and doing things. And again, if something turns up, I try to say yes to as much as I possibly can. But there's a point where you're doing so
You've
much,
got to
and
say no sometimes.
Exactly right. You have to say no because you end up just killing yourself. So yeah, sometimes you have to sort of rein it back a little bit. But one of my greatest attributes, I think, is that I get excited about lots of things.
New projects
doing this, and I think a lot of my work is sort of materials led. The work I'm doing in the library is very much started life as a materials led. So I get some new thing, and it's like, oh, all right, let's try that, and then, oh, have you tried this? Somebody says, and I, oh no, I haven't. Let's have a go at that, and
Yeah. How do you price your work?
Well, again, I'm in a really good position because I have a full-time job working in community arts. So I don't need to sell my artwork. And that means I can do anything I like as far as art goes. But I do have a pricing structure if it ends up, I do end up selling things. And you get the materials you have, how much does it physically cost you to do? And then you add on the time it's took to get those materials. You add the time it's took to physically do that, then add the time on to actually put that on show and promote it, and you decide on an hourly rate for that, and that is how much you charge for your artwork, basically. That's the way I do it.
You are working at Hull Central Library this week on a project. Would you like to tell our viewers about it?
Well, yeah, that's me big thing at the moment. During, I think it was 2016 and then 2018, we had two big exhibitions at the library, and it was such a fantastic space. It's just a lovely space to be in. I came up with an idea that I would like to do a giant drawing. So the drawings, it's just short of 10 metres long by 3 metres high, and it's on the back wall of the exhibition space.
That's
it's
big.
It's a huge piece of paper, one massive, great big piece of paper.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I am quite led by materials, and because I do a lot of drawing on cups. So I'm working really quite small, but I ended up buying this. It's called charcoal powder. And it's just charcoal that's just made into a powder. And you just cannot work small with it. It's got to be used in a big arena. And I started getting bigger and bigger. And I have a little space where I can work in. And I just basically outgrew that space. So with doing the exhibitions in the library through the Brandsome Goes to Town series of exhibitions through Brandsome Community Arts, I made a contact at the library, and I asked the library, is it possible to have this space? And then they've been really good, and they've actually gave me the space for free for this week. Also, I think I need to say that I applied for some funding from City Arts, and they've given me some money towards the materials that I'm using, because obviously a giant piece of paper.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. But I'm not getting paid to do it. It is still. I'm on annual leave this week doing this all week.
For your own benefit.
It's for my own benefit. Where do you get the chance to do a drawing as big as that?
Never, really.
Never.
No.
There is a side angle to this, I suppose, is because all the young people, I work with maybe 150 young people a week. And a lot of them know me as Wayne, who comes down and does arts and crafts. And because I've been doing it for 10 years now, I'm kind of got, like, I suppose, like an art teacher. Yeah. And they never see the work that I actually produce, because it's in exhibitions. Well, we're in exhibitions and things. I try and exhibit 6 times a year, but it's in, like last year it was in a coffee shop and in a pub and in the gallery in Bridlington and in the Ferrens. So, and if you're in group shows, you end up kind of getting lost in the middle of it all. Yeah. So one of the good things of doing this week in half term is a lot of the young people and the parents, school. That's right, they're off school, the parents have brought them down to see what I'm doing. Yeah. And the idea of the artwork isn't really about the end product. It's only really going to be on show for 3 hours on Saturday afternoon. It's about coming and seeing me draw. It's not about the finished thing. It's about the actual process, which is what my artwork is about. It's the process rather than the end product.
Yeah. How many pictures are you thinking of doing in this event?
Well, it's just the one. It's one giant, great big picture. Obviously, I've got some other pieces of work in the room, and the one that's brought more people in was another project, but it was along the same lines. I'm doing. I drew every single person on my Facebook. In fact, I drew you, didn't I, Ben?
Yes.
Yeah. You got in just at the end. Yeah, you sent me a friend's request just at the very end. Because I cut it off at 400, so that was the end
just
of that.
Just made the cut.
Just got in right at the very end, yeah. And because everybody on my Facebook has been tagged in these pictures, because originally that was going to be the only time, it was just going to be on Facebook and that's it. But when because I booked this space sort of 9 months ago, I started thinking, I could put my Facebook faces on there. And loads of people are coming down to see themselves that I've drawn, that I've drawn on the wall. And while they're there, they're actually looking at the drawing I'm doing. And it's called Domes of Hull. I don't think I've said the name. It's called Domes of Hull. And what I'm drawing is actually, there's so many buildings in Hull with a dome on. And I've took photos and done little sketches, and I've put them together as a conglomerate, really. Compilation, that's a good word. Yes. Yeah.
Or a montage, if you
Montage, there's, yes.
Surreal. What is the most inspired picture that you got you into art?
Right, well, it wasn't one, and it didn't really get me into art. I was already involved in.
But what pushed you to make that?
The piece of work that I can actually say changed my life was the Rothko room at the Tate. There's I can't think how many pictures there are in there, maybe 8, 9 pictures in there, and they're just, as I went in, it quite literally took my breath away. But I was kind of in a rush. We was about to leave, and luckily, a few months later, I had the chance to go back, and I spent a full 2 hours in that room, and it was just. The experience of that is just amazing, and I think that's right. And one of the things I think it taught me was you have to, because I've seen Rothko pictures in books and stuff, and you think, it's out. But when you see them in real life, one of Rothko's things was that to produce a painting that you couldn't photograph, and it's right, you can't. I mean, I've seen some good quality prints of his work, and they're nothing compared to the original. You have to go, and especially the Rothko room. He designed that entire room, and you go in, and you just feel it's just so reverential. It's just the feeling you get when you're there is amazing.
What would you like to do with your art in the future?
I don't really want to get famous. I don't like the idea of that. People knowing who you are, walking down the street, you can't go shopping and buy pot noodle at Jackson's, but I would like to sort of carry on doing what I'm doing at the moment, doing larger and larger pieces of work. But unfortunately, I just don't have the space for that. So I think my next project that I'm kind of gonna throw myself into is more of a photographic project. So I'm sort of working on getting a darkroom at the moment, and I have an 8x10 camera which takes a photo. That's 8x10 inches. And
what's the brand of the camera?
It's actually a Kodak 2D. It's over 100 years old.
Wow.
So the negative is this big.
Yeah.
But I'm working on a process to actually produce a positive straight from the camera.
Yeah.
When I produce this image on the camera, it's a one-off original. I won't be scanning it. I won't be doing anything. I might put some on my Facebook to let people know what I'm doing, but I'm not going to. If people want to see them, they'll have to come and actually have a look.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the idea of doing it so people can see the process, because like I say, everything I do is about process. So.
And finally, the last one, what is your proudest achievement?
Well, my proudest isn't mine at all, really. My proudest achievement is my work with Branzome Community Arts, working with young people and trying to let them know that they have a potential and things that can go. So basically, my proud achievements isn't from me. It's what I mean,
Us
you
guys
used to
do.
come to my groups, and
Yeah.
look at you now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you first started coming to our groups, I would never have said that you would be here today doing
Nah,
this.
I
And
wouldn't.
so to me, that is my proudest achievement. It's all the young people and seeing how well they're progressing in their lives.
Wayne Walton, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us for our Composer special coming soon. Join us then. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Mr. Wayne the Artist Walton.
That was my interview with Wayne Walton. Hope you really enjoyed it. Remember, it was from 2019, so hope you learnt something. My next upload will be with Neil Velger later on, and then Robin Blaemeyers and Carl Kingston, and then I'll upload the Bernie Clifton one to end the night, and then more uploading tomorrow, so I'll see you in a bit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and whatever you do, dislike if you didn't like it, just be honest with me. Yeah, talk soon, be out, bye, and that's a wrap.